Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy. Jamie and I recorded an episode just sort of talking about some practical approaches you can take to music. We talk through some activities you can do, and we touch on a lot of things that are easier to do. Music can be really overwhelming. And so we sort of just break it down and talk through some things you can do in the classroom and also right now. And one thing that's super exciting, we launched our website. So we talk a little bit about that in the end, and it's also linked at the bottom of this episode description. So please check out our website, allthingsmontessoripodcast.com. We are so excited and thrilled that it's here. We're so pumped. So as always, email us if you have any questions. Follow us on Instagram at allthingsmontessori. And if you haven't already, you can go ahead and subscribe to our podcast. That way, every week when we have a new episode, it will just download immediately to your computer. So easy. So make sure you do that. And thanks as always for listening. You guys are the best. Enjoy this episode. Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Hey, Rachel. Not too bad. Hanging in there.
Yeah. Today's Tuesday. I know what day it is.
It is.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Definitely.
We are still at home.
I know.
Staying safe.
Good.
That's a good thing too.
I find that I know the days of the week by like watching, I know it's Tuesday because we took the recycling out today. And then I know it's Friday because that's when we take the trash out.
Right? I know. That's the street cleaner was on my street this morning, so it's Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those kinds of things, all those rhythms.
I know.
Of the sort of daily life around home.
I know. Well, we thought we'd talk about music again because we've had a lot of response from that episode that we did. And, I find that people always have questions about music in the classroom. And we've really seen that with that episode. So we thought today we'd really talk through some practical aspects and things you can bring into the classroom that, do not require a degree in music or really a lot of musical knowledge. These are things that can really get you started. Because like everything else in the Montessori classroom, you really need to just present that key and the first few steps really clearly. And then the children pretty much carry you through after that.
Yeah, they'll take off and learn more. And of course, especially with music, if they really want to learn an instrument, then they're going to need to get some instruction in that. But we can sure get them started in just their excitement about music and some of the basic elements of music.
Right. So let's start with just listening to music. This is something that, Jamie, I will never forget when you introduced it on the course because I thought, wow, I grew up doing that. I'm so glad that they have that in Montessori, music appreciation, truly listening to it. And you don't really even have to do much for that personally. You just have to have the musical, you need to have the songs. And a little knowledge of what to show.
Yeah, totally. I mean, so I would just, if you think about music as kind of a language of sorts, the same way we approach language, we want to approach music. And so the first thing we want for children to have as early as possible is a lot of exposure to music, a very music-rich environment. But, when we listen to music, we don't want music ever to really, of course, we all just have it in the background sometimes. But for the children, when we're being really intentional about it, we don't want it to just be in the background. We want them to truly be listening. So we want them to have some times where the focus isn't, to clean the bathroom while they're listening or clean up the classroom while they're listening because they're distracted. We want them to just be sitting comfortably and listening. And we can listen together and point out things we notice and have discussions.
Yeah. And I think truly listening to music like that doesn't happen very often. I mean, a lot of the times you're right. It is just in the background. And that practice of focus and listening for certain elements. It brings a lot of concentration. It's helping developing their ear, and having that experience at a young age. One, it's going to show them a whole side of music that they might not get somewhere else. And it's going to just strengthen that appreciation for those artists, everything that goes into, learning an instrument and writing a piece of music, all of those aspects. It really will capitalize on that. And you can start off with just getting, looking up on Spotify or the internet, or, I would start with Mozart, Beethoven, and Bach if you're going to go classical. Children love classical music. I mean, it's technically fascinating. A lot of it's fast paced. A lot of it's really dramatic. So I find that elementary children love the drama. So they love that. And that's just a great stepping stone. And there's lots of, the best of Beethoven, or, you can look at Beethoven sonatas, or, Mozart's another fascinating one because he was so young when he was composing music. He was around their age. So that's something they can relate to. And then, once you kind of start there, you can piggyback, you can explore jazz, or maybe just one instrument. Maybe you just listen to guitar or violin, or, the cello, what have you. And then you can keep going, introduce some of your favorite artists. And it's sort of endless. And they can then begin to listen for different instruments. Or is this song fast or slow? What parts were loud? What parts were soft? What did this song make you feel? What did this song remind you of? There's so much imagery in music. So there's a lot of spaces to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to expose them to music you like, music that you don't like, and give them, a sense of also the diversity of music. So be sure you're choosing from a variety of traditions and globally, so that you've got, you give children a real sense of how humans have made music all around the globe at different times in history. Because I think, it's extraordinary how humans have chosen to express themselves musically. And it seems like we've been doing it for a very, very long time. So it's a wonderful exploration, but as much as possible to expose the children to music, not just in the background, but really with some listening exercises that they can do independently, or that they can do alongside an adult. And either way is great for the children. And I think not just listening, also it can be really useful for children to see how music is made by musicians. So, in a world where we can go to live shows, that's helpful and really important for children. We don't have that world right now, but what we do have is a lot of artists that are putting some free videos online of themselves doing music. And I think that can be another real sort of that can really ignite the children's interest. If you can find a popular artist that they like, and they can watch how that person plays the guitar or the piano or sings. And that also helps with their listening, but also as they start to think about how to make music. So a lot of that exposure is really useful and pretty easy to do in this day and age with easy access to all of those kinds of online resources.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. There's even been, live concerts too, like on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, all of that, which is awesome. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's so much about performance, when you see it live. There's I even remember when I learned piano and I was kind of getting used to having recitals. I mean, there's a presence you have to have on stage, but then there's the whole role of the audience, the clapping, and then the not clapping. And then when is it polite to get up from your seat? When is it not? All of those sorts of things. It's great. It's great acts of courtesy that, that are going to you're not really going to get unless you're in a concert hall, of course. But, someday, someday again, we'll be able to do that.
Right.
Oh,
And in
God.
our house lately, my younger daughter has been doing a lot of practicing of harmonies. So
Mm.
that's another thing to be thinking about is singing with children, singing singing all sorts of different kinds of songs. So it's a Beatles song, I believe, that she's been working on lately, and practicing
Mhm.
one particular part, not the melody, but one of the harmonies. Um,
Mm.
and
Cool.
and that's a good. I mean, that comes from listening and then being able to match that pitch, and then working toward being able to do it without the pitch to match, doing it independently. All of those kinds of things you can encourage the children to do. I mean, children spontaneously sing all the time from a very young
Oh, yeah.
age. Um,
Mhm.
and so encouraging them to sing with them, sing together every day, more than once a day. Um, all of those things are really useful in bringing music to the children too. And I think we said before, but don't even worry if you struggle to hold a pitch. The children will figure it out. So you don't have
Oh,
to
yeah. That doesn't, yeah,
you
of
don't have to
course.
worry too
I mean,
much.
no, I mean, I think the most important thing, and I know it's challenging to sing in front of people or children. I mean, I myself had I had a huge fear of singing in front of people I didn't get over that till I was like 16. Even though I was singing in choirs, I felt safe because I was singing with everybody else, right? Um, and so I understand that it's terrifying. It really is. But you have to remember that every time you're giving a lesson, you're performing in a sense, right? So you know how to do this. You just might not feel as confident with your singing voice. But the children don't know that, and they don't care, and they just want to sing together. And do all of them have perfect pitch? No. If they did, that would be remarkable. So the act of singing together, you're going to join in breath. You're going to all be doing the same thing at the same time. I mean, that's the experience that you want, and that's what you'll get from it. But I do understand that it is really scary. But I promise when you start doing it more, it just gets easier and easier. And as always, the children are constantly forgiving. They are so forgiving, and they are not going to hold you to that bar that you probably hold yourself to.
If you're looking for songs, I think there's tons of resources. And the one thing I think it's important to remember is it doesn't have to be songs for children. There are lots of
No.
artists that put together songs for children, written for children, or adapted for children, and that's great. But you can take any song that you like and teach it to children. I mean, I've taught Grateful
Absolutely.
Dead songs, I've taught the Beatles, I've taught, I've taught all sorts of different songs. So I think the key is to be sure you love it and are connected to it. And especially if you've got a little story you can tell about it, and then just sing. Just sing.
Yeah, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be an intricate. You're exactly right. It doesn't have to be tailored for children. I mean, a lot of songs have similar themes of love and friendship and things like that, and that's great. However, children's songs are super fun, especially if there's like funny sound effects or silly things. That always helps,
Yeah.
And
a lot of
you're right.
repetition is helpful,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
when they're first learning, if it helps them learn the songs, because of course they can't just read along with you. You have to do some repetition to build it in their memories. Because
That's right.
we can't always rely that they have the ability to read yet. So we're gonna teach them without the words in front of them. But yeah, singing is huge, and that's easy to do at home, like right now. Listening is a big important part of exposing children to a variety of music, and dancing, like
Yeah.
moving their bodies in time to the rhythm, connecting to how the music makes them feel and what they can express physically.
Yeah, that's a huge form of expression. I mean, just dancing freely. I mean, children, they're already moving, all the time anyway. So yeah, like, and that goes into listening, right? Like, what kind of, what rhythm does this song have? Can you move your body to the song? And it could be any matter of, genres of songs. But that's a super, super fun idea. I used to do freeze dance with my kids, because freeze dance is super fun. And, they just like to wiggle, and then, we pause the song. But sometimes I'd make the song that we were playing, like something, either a classical song or maybe a jazz song, something they usually wouldn't listen to. So just another way to get them that exposure.
Yep. Yeah. I think anything we can do to give them that exposure and have them feel, connected to the music. And those are all of the things we're talking about should be happening in the classroom, but they can happen at home also.
They definitely can.
And so I'd really encourage music to be a part of your daily learning at a distance, or whatever you're calling it. That these kinds of activities, and you can do games. There's also there's lots of science experiments about sound and how sound is made. And those are easy to Google. So you can make, it's easy to make your own musical instruments, like shakers, toilet paper tube, glue paper on both ends, put some rice or beans in the middle, glue paper on both ends. You've got a shaker.
I was thinking that.
Easy things like that to do. You can make some instruments out of strings and rubber bands to see how that sound is made. So these are easy things to Google, but that can really inspire interest in some children if they're not already interested, is looking at the science of how sound is made.
Yeah, it's super fascinating. Also the experiment with water glasses, and finding the pitch on the edge of the water glass. That's another really, really fun one that can amuse a child for quite a long time. And they can try it with different sizes of glasses and all different sorts of things. And that's a really fun experiment. And, that's another great thing about Montessori. You can connect the subjects, right? I mean, there's a ton of, like, music is very scientific, sound and pitch and all of that. I mean, it's fascinating and all. Absolutely. And another really big component of music is math. Rhythm is math. It's math. Like, I mean, time meter and all of that. It's math, right? And so that's another great connection. Counting beats. Rhythm, all rhythm exercises. All of that as well. You can make some rhythm patterns, or even on Zoom. I know this would be a little hard with the internet delay, but you can do clapping patterns on virtually if you wanted to. They can come up with their own. I mean, all sorts of things, because I find that rhythm, you want to instill that at a young age so they have rhythm.
Yeah. So helping them to make that connection to how sort of mathematical rhythm is, and then how we can stretch that a little in music to give a slightly different sense or feel. And I think, those are all great things to be exposing the children to. And so it doesn't have to be a completely systematic study of music. A lot of these activities that just connect them and expose them to music are huge for their development. And of course, if they can learn to read music, that's great, and we have the avenues for that as well. But also, even just that sort of sensorial connection is a huge gift to them if they've just had a lot of exposure and experience.
Oh, for sure. That'll serve them for a long time. And also, I feel like when you're exposed to music at a young age, it's not as scary as maybe if you were exposed to it older, because music is pretty complicated, but it's not as overwhelming when you're 6 and you just find it really fun to listen to. And then you naturally will get interested in it. Because, learning a musical instrument it takes a lot of work. It is like learning another language. Music is its own has its own set of rules and own set of all of these different components that you have to really learn. It's very hard and it takes a long time. And not every child is going to go down that path, but, giving them the gift of, that music appreciation, and just, music really connects people. It really does. It gives you a warm feeling inside. And that's really important, especially right now. So if you can sing a song over Zoom or send your children a new song that they can learn, and then it can really get them excited about, getting back together to sing it together or anything like that. I've seen so many virtual choir performances, and it's just, it makes me so happy, because music is just, it's universal. It's, music speaks every language, right? I mean, everybody can connect with music. So incorporating that into your classroom, and especially right now, is just a great gift you can give your students.
And I think if you're looking for, further activities to provide at home, making a playlist each week or something with some notes about things the children can explore about these different, or think about with the different, you can provide them a playlist on Spotify or whatever, and give them those things, some listening activities as an option, so that's one really easy way we can, sort of help prepare their environment at home when we can't actually be there, if we're giving them some of these links and resources of independent work they can choose.
Absolutely.
So playlists or some YouTube videos of certain certain performances or certain, there are a lot of musicians that are like showing how they play a certain song or those kinds of things. So you could share some of that with the children. I mean, or you might want to show them how, how a violin is tuned, or how a piano is tuned, or how, some of there's all sorts of little, you can give them some links for some independent listening activities or watching activities at home that relate to music. So the singing together is great, but also giving them some things to do independently as well.
Right. Yeah, because we all need to be independent, a little bit more independent these days, right? Because we're all doing our own thing. Yeah, well, we're happy to answer any questions you guys might have about more specific music activities. We just wanted to, really talk through a couple really big sections of music that you can hone in on right now. And so, yeah, I hope this was helpful, and hopefully gives you a little bit more confidence in the music department.
Yeah, so sing and listen and enjoy, and encourage all the children to do it as well.
Yeah. Oh, and also we launched our website.
Oh, right. We did.
Yeah, we totally did. So our website is live. It's allthingsmontessoripodcast.com. You can listen to the podcast on there if you need another platform to listen to it on. There's some more information about Jamie and myself. There is a contact us form on there, as well as a subscribe link. So if you want to subscribe to us, we're in the works of coming up with a few more things there, but definitely send us your email so we can have you as a contact for all the future things we're planning. And yeah, we're so stoked that it's out there. And so yeah, definitely check it out. I'll link it at the bottom of this episode too, so you can look at it.
All right.
Okay. Well, now I want to go sing.
I know. Good. Let's do it.
All right. Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.